Hi everyone, I'm Daniele Scalzo, and this is the episode number 7 of my podcast content creator journey. Today with me there is Kevin. You may know Kevin on TikTok with the handle UnbotherKev. Basically, he shares different kinds of content, but as you can see from his content, is authentic, is real, is shameless. Okay, as you probably, if you already listened my previous episode, I usually follow a script where I have this question and I repeatedly ask this question. But with Kev, I felt an instant connection, and so this conversation will be totally different. I hope you like it. Hope you can take value, and I hope you enjoy it.
Exactly. Let me start recording. It's fine. Yes, I'm Italian. Basically, I'm originally from Italy, but I moved in UK because I wanted to learn English, right? And then I'm stuck here basically now. I
Oh
live in
wow!
UK, but my parents are from Italy, and basically all my family is there. But
Wow!
originally, they are from the south of Italy, so they are from Calabria, but not Cosenza. I think yesterday on the you mentioned
Yeah,
Cosenza. Uh, they are not in Cosenza, but literally close to Cosenza.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's my mother's maiden name is Cosenza. They were from Cosenza, Italy. And
But
my father's parents, I don't know where they were from exactly, but close by, And then they all immigrated to the United States, probably early 1900s. My oldest uncle was my oldest uncle was born in 1917.
wow,
I have one aunt on my mother's side and one aunt on my father's. Two aunts on my mother's side and one aunt on my father's side still alive. They had 6 kids each. My father's been dead 20 years. He'd be 95. My mother's been dead since 2009, and she'd be 96.
wow.
Yeah, so I'd love to get over there now that we have a hookup. If I ever we can ever travel again. I've never been much of a traveler, but TikTok has made me want to travel and see people, see other people besides Americans.
Exactly.
Fucking
Honestly,
sick of.
I'm to give you a little bit about background about myself.
All
I'm
right, go ahead.
Daniele, I'm 28, and I always had this passion about Americans and also social media. So I started to make content on TikTok, and then so I always passionate about like self improvement. So I was always reading. I'm always reading books to improve my, your health, to do different stuff. For instance, I basically came to you by watching this video that you suggest to wash your teeth with the opposite hand.
Right, brush your
So
teeth.
yeah, brush your teeth with the opposite hand. So I started to do this challenge with you, and suddenly, like after doing, I will say the couple of days, 5 days, 6 days,
Yeah,
7 days, especially the first 3 days, they were
yeah,
was very hard.
right.
Honestly, was I was trying,
Yeah, it's a
was
pain in
very
the ass.
it's a pain in the ass. But then after the first week, I didn't even notice that I was using the opposite hand.
Yeah,
But I didn't stop there, Kevin. No, I mean I stopped there, but I start to search about it. And I read that online there are articles that they are saying that if you are doing stuff with the opposite hand, you are basically using another place of your brain. So
right.
you open creativity, you open a different place that we don't usually often use it. So it's an interesting perspective. And how did you start this? Why? Honestly,
Well,
yeah. Tell me a little
it,
bit about.
all right. Well, as far as brushing the teeth with the opposite hand, I've used that. Yeah, I never read anything about it. It's just that um, I it was just something to do to improve, like something. All right, the whole story kind of is in a nutshell. I'll try to make it quick. I got sick in 2019 because I was not taking care of myself, and I ended up in the hospital with an acute kidney problem and high blood pressure, acute stuff. But I ended up being in there for 5.5 days, and I've always been the kind of guy I've been through a lot. And when I get out of the hospital, I just said, I'm gonna just live my life to my standards. And how am I going to get to that? And I always felt I had something to offer. I've always been kind of an entertainer and stuff. And I had to pick something. A lot of people don't have like a profession. Like I'm a real estate inspector, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a teacher. Not a fireman. Not a cop. No label. I guess. What do you do? I inspect houses and property, I guess. But for me, it was always kind of a bit of a stigmatism, knowing that I knew I had it in me to be really good at something, entertaining. And so I said, all right, well, how am I going to do that? And I said, I got to get really good at something. I'm going to be singularly focused. And so what I started, I knew I could dance if I could learn EDM, if I could learn how to do EDM. So I so I changed my lifestyle. I lost 70 pounds in 10
Wow.
weeks. I went from 253 down to 183 in 10 weeks. Before TikTok, I could have chronicled it. I'm kind of heavy now. I'm heavy now because I'm eating snacks. I eat healthily, but I don't drink alcohol at all. That was what was one of my big downfalls. I don't go to AA thing. I smoke ganj. It's legal in Massachusetts. I just had a physical yesterday, and I did great. And I was in bad shape a year and a half ago. Bad shape. Throwing up every day.
Wow.
Yeah. Couldn't hold food down. So anyway, so how do you get good at? All right. Well, I know it's a kind of a long way to get to brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, but the principle is well, all right. So I got good at it. Let's just put it that way. But hours, I've got over 6,000 hours in dancing. I danced 8 hours a day because I had really kind of no job. The pandemic was here. I had nothing else to do. But I actually started doing it before TikTok. My kids got me on TikTok. I didn't even know what it was.
Why don't Instagram, not Instagram or Twitter or something else?
Well, I was when I first started posting, I shared everything to my Twitter account, to my Instagram, and to my Facebook. And all my friends at my age, judgmental, a lot of them I don't talk to anymore because we don't share the same ideals. It has been in America here, it's become very clear. Trump's made it easy not to have to hide your feelings anymore, and it works both ways. That's the thing. And so I've cut people out of my life that would still hang out with me, I'm sure, 100%. More than ever now that I've actually set out to do what I did and prove to myself first, not to anybody else. So I was one of my close friends. I get into my last political argument I'm ever going to have in my life, like a year ago in January. And after that, I said, that's it. I'm just going to look in front of myself. And then I was at the same time, I was videotaping myself dancing. The key to being able to dance is the EDM. How do you dance to EDM? I knew that I had to be completely selfless, conscious, not like where I could go, not even in front of myself, because I wasn't even at the point where I could look in the mirror. Now, this is just 2 years ago. I had so much, regret. Yeah.
This is basically.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No. It's fine, absolutely fine. I just want to understand because this point that I'm going to make it right now is going to help me and it's going to help other people. Honestly, this was the first video that I came to you, like all the video that you suggest to wash your feet with your in hand. This was one video. Then I came to you with another video, because TikTok, when you watch a video and they know that you're spending time in this video, they're going to propose more content about you, for instance, okay? Even if you didn't click follow, because you spend a lot of time in a specific content, they said, you might be interested for more content.
Oh, yeah,
Another content that came to you dancing. So I said,
let
me check this profile. because I don't like to judge people, and secondly, I'm curious about everything. And I came to you, I would see you dancing, and I said to my girlfriend, how can you do that? Why Kevin doesn't feel like people judging you? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, this question, I know is grammatically, there are
No,
mistakes,
you're
but
doing. It's fine.
my point
It's fine.
is, why you don't care about other people's judgment? First of all, because you had problems, health problems, so you pass that and you say, I don't care anymore. And
Right.
this is because I had problems, I suffer. So this open my mind and say, you know what? I don't care what other people think. What made you think in this way? Like, what the
Well,
fuck? I don't
just
care.
kind of that. Well, when I started posting on Facebook and all the shit was going down with the Trump and all that in America, and people my age were calling me fucking crazy. They were bullying me, and they were all pro-Trump people. Well, I'm talking people I've known all my life, and it drove me to say, I'm done listening. I'm done. I know better than they do as far as, they're calling it a pedophile site. I look at the New York Times, I'd post an article. I said, I'm done that way. Now that I know that I can express myself, I'm just going to look within and trust myself, because myself is a lot better than the shit that's out there. You know what I mean? I might not be perfect, but I don't need, like, look, when it comes down to it, it came down to no one really is gonna help you. You can read every self-help book, you can go to every AA meeting, you can go to Al-Anon, you can go to, but it's all comes down to, and unless you have like bipolar or you need like real medication to keep you're schizophrenic or something, your brain is like, you have to trust it. And I mean, it took me years to do this. That's why I'm trying to not pass it on. And I only say it works for me. I don't say, give me $20 and it'll work for you. You know what I mean? It worked for me. And I have such a strong ties to the millennials and even the Gen X crowd with my nieces and nephews, but my kids are, basically millennials. One son was born in '98, but I feel, I just started living the life that I said, you know what, and then I started getting results. Then, I mean, a year ago at this time, I had 100 followers on Twitter. I started, I mean, not Twitter, on TikTok. My dancing was, if you go back and look at, I mean, I have over 4,000 videos. You said you went and did some research. You'll see some bothered Kevin. I was still like, I was making the corner, but my feelings, like, so brushing your teeth with the opposite, the first 3 days, you're running into your gums. It hurts.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if it was just a good way to, like, if you, growing up, I used to suffer. I used to have a lot of anxiety. I would suffer from anxiety. I had a pretty domineering family, and even though I was the youngest one, but my mother was ahead of her time with like yoga and breathing and looking within and
meditation,
concentrating. I had to do that, and I never really believed in psychology. I did get hypnotized once, and I read a book by Philip Hanley called Panic Attacks, Their Causes and Their Cures. And I still have it, and I bought it when I was flipping out. I was getting major panic attacks when I was in my 20s, like 3 or 4 a day. So anyway, fast forward to brush. If you're thinking about something singularly, and that's all that matters at that time. So when you're brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, it's your brain helping your arm get into the practice so you don't keep hitting your gums. And you can I'm never going to be a brain surgeon, but I know that I can pick up but I did something that most people would never think of doing, and I perfected it. Even though you know what I mean, and you did it, and now you feel good. It costs no money. It's just a little chip that made you give your body a little more confidence that your brain is trying to release to you all the time. But we don't want to listen to our brain. We rather listen to somebody else's brain. You know what I mean?
It's true.
someone like that. And so when I got into that argument about the politics, I just said that. And then when TikTok, in January, when I went on TikTok, when my kids finally convinced me to go on, and I thought it was
Why
like,
they convince you? Why they convince you? Why they said? Why?
well, I just didn't want the app. I didn't want another app on my phone. I don't know. I was just happy doing what I was doing, and I was very like I had just lost. Like I was kind of high on myself. I lost the 70 pounds by eating just vegetables, water, as many vegetables, as many fruit as you want, hot water, regular water, coffee, and a protein bar and high fiber pasta. I had to have pasta, and I did it. I dropped. I walked when I was in the hospital. I get out of the hospital. I was 242, and I get down to one. And I've put it back on eating kind of junk food, but I've always, if you eat right, and you know you're eating right, and you're like, I'm going to do it again, and you're conscious now, that is a drastic diet, 700 calories a day, but you can eat as much as you want. So I actually wrote it all out and called it the Dr. Fusa diet. It's an old nickname of mine, but because again, it's kind of just concentrating on one thing at a time. You look at you watching me, you're engaged with me. I can tell that you are engaged with me, and I'm engaged with you. That's all that really matters right this second. And TikTok broke it down to 15 seconds at a time for me. So I lived 15 seconds at a time. Basically, I never went any further than my next TikTok. I mean, that's why I have so many of them, and so if you can kind of train your mind that you to live in the moment and to just kind of be satisfied with the fact that that you brush your teeth with the opposite hand. No, 900 million people in the world didn't do that this morning.
Exactly.
More people conducted brain surgery than brushed their teeth with their opposite hand on the day that you did it. Think about it like that. And that makes you special, and that makes you a better person for yourself, because now if you ever, God forbid, lost your other hand, that would be one of the easier transitions that you'd have to make.
It's true. But did you have any expectation?
Well, then I set a goal. When I got on TikTok, I set a goal. I wanted 100,000 followers in a year, and I did it in 357 days. And I had 0 fucking followers. I started getting followers in September of last year, and this TV star in Australia named Olivia.
Why did you put this goal? Why 100,000?
Because I said, and here's the other thing with that. I said I was going to follow very few people because I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to see if I could build an audience and basically prove all my fucking friends wrong. And I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, which I've never really had in my life. It was always the chip on my shoulder for myself that I had never lived up to my potential. I had a beautiful wife, blah, blah, blah. I just couldn't quite get there all the way. And this was my 100,000 followers was my way of doing it, and or making money, as a career out of entertaining people, not fleecing people, entertaining with my, that's why I don't have a Cash App up there or anything like that. I am selling merchandise now, but it's good stuff. It's organic. It's stuff I approve of. You know what I mean? Takes a little long to get to people, but I don't, it's kind of like, I'm kind of like the third rung on this kind of local branding company that has their own stuff. And it's almost like a favor that they're doing it to me. So, but we sold a bunch of stuff, and I was supposed to have, we are selling, and we're going to be bringing in some new stuff. We were supposed to have a meeting yesterday, but it kind of got shoveled off. Probably by me, because
Kevin, sorry if I think forward.
Go ahead. I ramble on. That's all.
No, it's fine. One of your targets could be to leave your full-time job and doing this full-time.
Well, yeah. I mean, my career is at a point where, I used to run my own company. A family business that we started. I became president. My sister and brother-in-law, we were and for years, and we were doing inspections for like we worked for banks, and then I spread out. We worked for insurance companies. Now, as of just over a year, I actually went to work for this company that was my client, just because I kind of wanted to. I've never worked for corporate America before, and it was a new challenge. And let me tell you, it was not. It took all. It was all happening at once. You know what I mean? It was like I was TikToking 8 hours a day. I was trying to learn how to like, I have a 40-year-old boss, and it's like I got 5 40-year-old bosses all of a sudden. I'm like, what the fuck? But I learned it, and I'm actually thriving at the job. And now it's mostly virtual because I used to be on the road a lot in Massachusetts and New England, and we had a pretty big operation at one time. So I did pretty well, but never the whole potential. So yeah, to answer your question, but I don't mind doing my job now. I kind of like it. I'm settled in. I'm one of their top performers. That so, and I don't have to. But the satisfaction of like even getting into the TikTok Creator Fund.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to do I haven't taken any money. It's like my IRA. And when I was getting a lot of views, like what I was always proud of is my like to view ratio was always high. If I had 10 views, I had 4 likes. In the beginning, there were 2 likes by me, and I developed another character called Frank Fulginiti, and Frank would like Kevin's stuff, and Kevin would like Frank. If you go, you'll see. And but go ahead.
Yeah, but so you had the expectation.
And I was not gonna. As soon as I got spotted doing one out in front of a Cumberland Farms. Cumby spotted it because I was posted. Anyway, I was posting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Then I stopped, and then I became not a fan like of Mark Zuckerberg necessarily, and all the whole shit. And like I'm not, And then what I did is I stopped watching TV, and then when I lived in LA, Howard Stern came on in 1991, July 31st, and I was a big Larry Sanders guy. And I listened to Howard all the way till November 3rd of last year, when it just got too much for me. Even him, I had to say goodbye to. I listened to one interview over and over with one of the guys, Medicated Pete. Anyway, and I got very, very focused on and kind of driven that I know that I've got it, and I'm going to give it, and I'm going to share it. Like, I think I have something, like, I'm entertaining. I'm an entertaining person. I needed the talent, like even the guitar. I've been playing the guitar for 40 years. And then I couldn't play it like I play it now because I sat down and actually looked and said, wow, that's a C on the fretboard. Here's a C. Here's where everything is. I used my brain. Doing exercise like brushing my teeth with the opposite hand, dancing, like I almost stopped a few times because I felt like I lost the beat. But the key to the dance is perpetual motion. If you miss the beat, it'll always come back. And so that's why this could turn into the whole 9. Because I knew I could have the skills, just as I've always been a decent dancer. I'm agile, good tennis player, good on my feet. And I play, I like music. And then what TikTok did, and now because I got huge with like the One Directioners and stuff like that, I listened to to what they wanted to hear. And like all my TikToks are all like one take. It's not like I don't do them all out. I do them better now because, a little bit just because I guess you have to, but it was always the feeling, it was always the feel. And when I was ready to do it, and doing them in public places, like you got to think, I was doing them a year ago in the pandemic. I was wearing a mask and I wasn't even that good. I thought I was good. I look back at them now, I'm like, oh my God, but I don't give a shit. I love them all. I wouldn't erase one of them. I have no regrets. I live with no regret.
But do you receive negative comments?
I've never gotten one, and I think I have almost 1 million comments. I don't have one negative comment, not one. I have a lot of proposals to get to be some people's father, to be adopted. I'm looked up to, like, and I embrace that because I feel like I'm someone that is genuinely look up to able. Like my kids look up to me. Like I'm okay to be respect. Like I'm not going to do anybody wrong. Like I don't. At first, I was a little like, I don't know if I want to be looked at as like an idol or anything like that. But I'm of the age where, I feel like I can just help younger kids or whatever when I say younger kids, I'm talking about you.
Exactly.
I'm twice as old as you, and so. And I have 23, a 20, and a 17-year-old daughter. And my son's oldest, they're doing well, and they went through a divorce. And my ex. Well, I don't want to get into it too much. Kids not their lives, but they could be the epitome of white entitlement, but they're not. You know what I mean? And I like that, but they have the advantages of it. But anyway.
Do they have do they have TikTok? Do they make video? Your kids?
Yeah, they do now. Like my son Will, he goes to the Tisch School of Arts, NYU. So, and he's real talented, and he's done stage theater since he was in 9th grade at the Stage Door Manor up in New York. It's this kind of hoi polloi acting academy. They come from all over the world. It was really very nice. I mean, the conditions were horrible, but so, and he got into NYU. So he's a junior there, and he's a great guitar player and singer. So he was a little like, TikTok, but then, like, listen, everybody knows how to do everything too. That's the other thing, everybody knows. You got all these people on here that are saying, the trend alerts of this. I've started some of those trends that they're talking about now. No, and now I'm like losing followers, and I feel you kind of know what you're talking. Like that was I never thought of it that way. Like you get targeted when you actually went on and started exploring me. Like I have found recently that even though I don't follow a lot of people, some of the people that I would engage with or like watch over and over, or that I liked and physically liked, and would follow if I was at follow. Like if I just wasn't doing that for my own, like I'm trying to build. I look at TikTok like I'm a TV show. Like all those earlier ones, you'll see that it says commercials. I do a whole like behind the scenes, like I'm in an old age home, and De Niro's there, and Pacino's there, and Clint, and I do all the characters. And then I used the effect for the Joker, and he was my sidekick, kind of like a sideshow Bob in The Simpsons, to Krusty's. And if you watch them, they're pretty fucking funny. Again, they got 10 views, and 4 of them were my own and Frank's. So a lot of people haven't seen them.
Do you get upset when you don't get enough views?
Well,
could be. I know. Could be like a.
Well, I just get perplexed at it now. I mean, I've lost. I mean, listen. All right, then I get to 100,000 followers, and I just want to give a shout out to this Olivia Lillian Deedle. She's an actress in Australia. She's a Disney actress.
Wow.
And she found me, and she took it down, but she put like a green screen of me saying I was the coolest guy in TikTok, and then she did a duet of her. Like, she's a beautiful girl. She's young. She's only like 18, 19 years old, but she's hip to the hat, and she kind of endorsed me. And I did the song Ringtone. And some of my earlier followers who are still with me, which I love, I started getting views. Like I had one that got like 12,000 views in like 2 hours. Wow. And that's fast. And so when you see that number go up, and then when you start to see it go from like 5,000 followers an hour, it's pretty wild. When you see a video, I have a video that has 1 million, like I have multiple million view videos, but what I'm most proud about is they have over 500,000 likes, and they have 10, 15, 20,000 comments. Each one I've answered either by a like or a physical comment. And it's genuine because I feel if someone takes the time to like or to comment,
Exactly.
And my second live stream I did, I had 46 different countries. I had at my high count, we had 46 people. 26 of them were from different countries, and the rest were from the United States. And we were all talking.
Kev, which kind of advice would you give to somebody that is afraid about the judgment of other people? It doesn't feel like to show himself on the camera. What do you suggest?
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do, but you can never lie to yourself. You just can't lie to yourself. As much as you try, people are trying it right now, or they're trying to rewrite. Really, if you look at it in macro, trying to rewrite history, or but personally, you know what you are, and so try to stay as true to that as you can. Like, when I say don't lie to yourself, I'm talking about, like, if you did something wrong, you did something wrong. If you did something right, sometimes you just kind of go along with it because it's right. Like, your brain, it's like brushing your teeth with your normal hand, when you do something right. I guess it's a tough answer because there's a lot of people that are going through. I have a nephew that's a transgender woman to man, and listen, I call him by his old name 80% of the time when I see him. Wow. And I don't mean, because well, he's 20 years old now, and I've known him by one name for 18 years, and I saw him a lot. But now here's the thing. But now I am more aware of it, and it's like brushing my teeth with the opposite hand.
Exactly.
I make sure that I'm calling him the name that his identity,
Yeah, exactly.
TikTok. I mean, I'm beyond, like, liberal as far, like, I lived in LA for the riots. I mean, I've seen, like, just such ignorance in people, and so I would say, if people, I can't even remember the question, but be who you are. I mean, if you're the kind of person that wants to wear it on your chest, wear it on your chest. But I mean, look at, well, I hate to use people as an example, and I won't, because I don't like to give labels. Like, when someone says, here's one thing that maybe we'll end it on this if you want, I don't care. But if someone says, well, that's not, if that's not politically, well, I'm not politically correct. I forget exactly how I had it down.
Okay.
You can bet 90%, 99.9% the next words out of their mouth are going to be stupid. You know what I mean? So, because they're not, it's just correct. So be correct. Be correct with yourself. It's like working on yourself is, your mind will let you do it. You don't need me. It's good. I'm glad. I'm happy to share my own experiences. But it's like when people say, well, this is going to happen, I mean, and people, and so I never even thought of myself as an influencer. Like, I guess I am, but
yeah.
And yes, do I get mad? Like, yeah, I'm perplexed. I mean, I do a Wilbur Suit video, it gets 1.5 million views and 600,000 likes, and I do the same video because the experts will tell you, if you do a video 2 months afterwards, which is horseshit. It's all random as far as I'm concerned now, because I've done it all. I've been on TikTok since January 19th, 2020. you know, and I went 9 months without getting more, you know, and now I have what I have. Those likes are genuine. The followers I have, like, I know the term culling, you know, I attract a lot of younger audience, so I'm sure there's you know, like TikTok is monitoring my site quite a bit, I would imagine. I don't know how, like, do you ever unfollow anybody?
Yes.
You do?
Unfollow people.
Yeah, like you'll follow them and then you'll unfollow them.
Yeah, but then they show you more content about them. So if you don't, if what I don't know if is what you're
I don't
saying.
think I don't think we're getting the interpretation right. Like, if I was, say I was following you,
Okay.
unless you did something heinous, I don't think I'd unfollow you. You know, like some people follow
Yeah,
like 1,000,
it's true. No,
2,000
it's true.
people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, this time last week, I had 186,800 followers. Now I'm holding on to 185,000 followers. 1,700 people just don't like me anymore. I don't understand that.
I think you shouldn't focus in this way. I think you should like produce the content that you like, and when you see comment, you should follow the comment.
Oh no! Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I think there will be always people that don't follow you anyway. So
It just
I
never
get you.
happened. Like, I was on such a trajectory. Like, I was used to getting 15,000 followers a week. Like, my numbers going like this. Now my comments and my audience is still loyal and there, and I don't really give it. I made my point. I've gotten to where
Exactly.
I want. I have a beautiful design of me that someone drew of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm at a level where, like, I got noticed in public a few times, but
Really?
yeah, and it was wild. I mean, I have a mask on, but I was at a dispensary, so I was at an area that, like, another age group, a big age group of mine is like the 20 to 20. I'm 24, 22, and so yeah, two girls that worked there, like, and I was like, oh man, like, I didn't know how. I was a little like taken back,
Exactly.
like, you know what I mean. I mean, I was very flattered, you know, like, but they were like giddy, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know, like, I was like, shit, you know, this is so. Thank God people like me, you know. Like, I would like, if I was walking around with one of those, like, because I have very strong feelings about, like, Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, and I don't put it out on the. I mean, if you saw some of my drafts, or even if you go back to, you'll see. I was doing parodies of My Pillow guy back a year ago, you know, February. Go back and watch them. You'll laugh your ass off. You know.
But I think, Kevin, one of the things that most people, they follow you or they are in some way inspired by you, and I can say personally, is your authenticity. Let me rephrase that.
No, that's I like that term.
Yeah, authenticity, because like I was watching like some video where like you have your house, like obviously you have clothes around, which is
right.
If you think about it, obviously you'd say, yeah, but this guy left they left there. You can say no, you can start to judge. But you cannot say, you can also think in a different way and say, yeah, it's me. Could be me.
Right.
Could be me.
Right.
I'm recording this video. I get bored to tidy up. So, and this is fully authenticity. Like where you were is super simple and super relatable. This is why a lot of people, like, they might judge you, but they don't write and they say, yeah, but Kev left the things there, but who cares? Kev is Kev. We know Kev is a good guy.
Right.
He's funny. We like Kev as a personality. This is my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that's who I am, and you know,
Exactly.
the feedback I get from people. Look, I've had comments. People have had comments that have gotten 30,000 likes on my thread. Like, they'll say Kev is this, like, or whatever, and it'll get. I mean, you go back and look at those 30,000. What I like about TikTok too is the analytics. So at least on paper, it looks legit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Arnold Rothstein, the gangster, mob guy who fixed the 1918 World Series. He said numbers were invented so people could lie. Now, he was a bad man, so I don't want to make that sound glamorous. But listen, my parents, I've learned a lot lately, and I don't know if it's like I'm kind of like channeling a lot of energy from my parents, even though they've been gone a while. I live in the house I grew up in, and I think that they would like my mother and father fought like cats and dogs. My father passed away. I was with him in the other room. I was doing the overnight shift. My mother's in the room I'm sitting in now. And after she calmed down, I told her he died. They were married 53 years, fought like cats and dogs. If if it was sunny out and there was one cloud in the sky, my mother said, it's going to rain. You know what I mean? Or, not negatively, but it's just, a black guy and a white guy could be standing next to each other and they could argue which one was black and which one was white. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
but when they died, let me just finish. I said, why did you stay with my daddy so long, all these years? But he was a handsome guy and everything. He goes, because he was the most genuine person I'd ever met in my life. And people wanted to be like him. And he was like, so she kind of snagged him, and she just loved the fact that authenticity. And my mother had it too. And so do my brothers and sisters. I have two older sisters and an older brother. And I'm glad that I'm glad that comes through. Obviously, I think it does. Because I do have a nice following, and I appreciate the kind words. It really touches my heart.
But I want to understand. I could sound repetitive, but like, for instance, when you take a video, when you record a video, and you have like all the stuff around yourself, clothing is mess. But who cares? Who cares?
Right.
Like, what do you like when you're going to post that video? No, when you go to post it, you post it, you share it. What do you think? Like, you don't literally care about what the people they can say to you about your mess. What is it
No
like?
one has.
I just want to understand your mentality. I just want to
understand. Yeah, well, my
your mindset, because not
right. Well, listen,
that's true.
I'm an old guy living like a teenager, and I don't mind it. So yeah, I don't give a shit, I guess. But I do clean my house. Like I've cleaned so much. I've cleaned so much in my life. Like these toys, all I've done. No. I'm just saying. You want my answer? It's kind of like. Yeah, I kind of don't care.
Okay.
I kind of don't care. Like I know. Look at how I'm dressed. Look I'm in my underwear. I'm sitting here. Like I got to take a shower. I don't know. I just. But I'm living my life to my potential. And having my son, growing up, like I worked around this yard. Like that's all we did. My parents. There's no such thing as boredom. You know what I mean? So my shoes are all lined up and they were in the right order. I was finally released to be able to go play with the kids who've been playing since 9 o'clock, but I've been picking weeds out of like the tile around. Like, granted, we had a pool, definitely had, my father was ahead of his time but he could do everything. He could build a wall. He built that barn. He built that goddamn barn out there,
Wow.
I can't do anything. Like that was my whole issue, my whole life, So now I've gotten to a point where I'm cool with me. I'm not putting those shoes in order if I don't want to. And when I do a TikTok, I genuinely kind of feel the moment. Yeah. Like I feel like I come across a song or a thought or whatever. So my TikToks are very spontaneous.
Exactly. And honestly, this is the point I want to make right now. So I'm guilty of it, and a lot of people, I believe they are, that when you record a video, you want to be that everything is perfect. The light is perfect.
Right.
The rest, because you probably noticed that a lot of people they want everything.
Well, I heard it from my kids all the time.
Camera,
clean your room.
The amazing camera, cleaning your room, You're light. No, it's dark. Okay, I'm going to
Right,
record
right.
tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody
Okay.
has an issue. I shut everybody up at 100,000 followers. I'm talking about my kids and stuff. You
Exactly.
know, yeah, because oh, your light's bad. You know, you're getting
Exactly.
boring over here. I was like, I mean, to the kids. I'm just talking to my kids. You know,
Yeah.
well, you know, like, and now, I mean, it is gratifying to say I'm the one who knows. I know it works. So right now, like losing followers, and I'm like, oh, does it? But I got here doing only what I wanted to do, so I'm not reading into it. But I would suggest that you have good lighting if you're doing a TikTok and all that. You know,
You shouldn't lose your authenticity. You shouldn't
no,
use
for me, I'm doing my thing. But I mean, if you're asking me,
Yeah, exactly.
like you know, I know people have like the round things and
Yeah,
hold
the
their
round-
phone. My
yeah.
phone, I've gone through 3 iPhones that have fallen. I'll show you one right now. Look at this. This is ridiculous. This phone's taking so much shit, such a beating. This is look at this thing. I
Wow.
couldn't even afford this, right? It's all cracked. I use it right down until I was getting if you go back about 6 months ago, you'll see some of my videos. It looks like I have a film over me, you know? It's that phone because I had to turn it, when I turned it this way, it had the film. So I had to turn it that way, you know? So, but they're all done with love, you know? I love
But
doing them.
I think
I can't believe I'm doing a podcast with you. You know, look at that. Who would have thought that?
exactly. And another thing that I think you need to be you and me and a lot of people, we should be thankful about TikTok. But let me explain why.
Okay.
Because I always say that the people that works at TikTok, in some way, they built an environment, they built a social platform that is different from others. For instance, as you know, Instagram is literally, they want to promote like this aesthetic. You must be perfect.
Right.
You need to edit. You need to filter your pictures. There is this culture in Instagram. Instead, on TikTok, they in some way promote authenticity, positivity, who you are. You need to show off who you are. So I believe this is this is probably one of the reasons you have a lot of success on TikTok, because maybe if you post the same video on Facebook, will probably be harder. But I believe
I got laughed at.
exactly.
I got
They will
ridiculed.
judge.
I
Instead
got
of
judged. And on Instagram, same thing. It was like, and then when Zuckerberg was trying to come up with reels and they were trying to close down, I was like, fuck you. And so again, being unbothered, I follow very few people on Twitter. I get I watch a snippet once a week of maybe the last word, Larry O'Donnell. You know what I mean? I read the obits, unfortunately, because I'm back into a wave where 7 people that I know and that I knew personally died in the last 2 weeks, from randomness, old age, no one sad, one, young one, so, yeah, I don't know. So, whatever. I
think
lost my train of thought. I just lost my train of thought.
I think one of the people that I personally as well struggle, or I think everyone, is when you receive a comment on everywhere online, you take personally, and the fact that I think
Yeah.
it's the worst. Don't take personally, because obviously you can
Well, no, now that I'm kind of gone up and down, like I was watching the followers up and down. It was like a roller coaster for like the stock market, It was like, holy shit, and I could physically, I'd go into my creator side, and I could see the exact numbers going up and down. I'm like, oh my God. It was fun because I'm like, it's kind of farcical for me because I did what I wanted to do, but would I like to have 1 million followers? Yeah. But I don't want the responsibility. Like, I don't even like the word follow necessarily. Like, I wish they could have come up with something else, because then that means like I lead by example, but I don't necessarily want to be a leader,
Okay.
But then I start thinking, well, if I got 4 million followers and most of my age group is going to be available to vote in 2024, if I had 4 million followers and I'm making money by supporting myself with the unbothered Kev wear, and I get some sponsorship, I could run for fucking president.
I like.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say that out loud too often because because I get that reaction. Well, that's the kind reaction that I get, because the people I'm telling it to, again, I have a very small circle of people that I keep in touch with now. I used to have a large circle, mainly because it was my personality that I attracted other people together. I don't know if these people are still hanging out with each other now or not, that I don't keep that common link. I just dropped it like that. Unfortunately, part of being unbothered is having a part of your heart that just can shut it off because you've gone through so much, you've seen so much. You just don't. You can make things invisible, and that's. But again, with my kid, when I'm talking about, I'm getting reactions like that. I'm only telling Jack, Will, Mia, my sister, maybe. Very few people, because again, people think you're crazy, but I made it. See, no one can tell me that I can't do what I've done, because I crawled out of a hospital 18 months behind on my mortgage, just sold, after pawning my Challenger. I've had Rolex, everything. Now I'm solvent. And today I'm actually going out to look at buying a new car. And you know what I mean? And so I've done it. And so anybody can do it. So why couldn't, if that fellowship got so big, and then I look at guys like Joel Osteen and stuff, and I go, oh my God, I'd have to take it all the way and be like, but Biden's doing it now. Like, he's quietly, things are going to be really good in about 4 or 5 years, I think, and that's one thing that we can thank Donald Trump for in America, is that he really just brought it to the head, just blew it up. They tried their little insurrection, and they're all going to go to fucking jail. And that's great. And I don't mean it. And I like the international audience. Like, I want to play the Royal Albert Hall. That is a goal of mine in June of because my nephews, we have a band that used to be called the Uncle Cousin Band, and all my nephews and my kids, they're all musicians, like musically trained, and been on bands that have traveled across North America. So I want them to back me up, the Unbothered Kev Band. I want to do a tour, and I want to start. I have actually called the Royal Albert Hall personally. They haven't gotten back to me, but because Eric Clapton, who I've seen, I love Eric, played there many times. It seats 5,762 people. I figure I can fill it. Now, I've either been saving money to see how much it costs just to rent the fucking thing out, because anything's rentable, especially nowadays. So tell them to get back to me. You're over there. You're in the UK. You in London?
Yeah, close to London, yes. Here the situation is pretty much fine. Now we get out from the lockdown, so everything is...
You guys still wear masks outside?
Yes, we still do. And restaurants, they are closed outside. You can only drink outside or eat outside. And soon, at the end of the month, I think mid of month or this month, then we can basically come back, or you can eat it inside the restaurant. So things a little bit start to open up.
Well, if we shut down like Australia did, like in March of last year, instead of like inflame it, it would have been a lot faster. But now, I don't know if we're reopening too soon, but with vaccinations, like I'm going for my second vaccination on Monday. I had my first one. So in Massachusetts, which had one of the strictest laws for all the COVID in the United States, we lifted the outdoor mask. Because enough people, over 2 million people have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated in the state. So it's pretty incredible what's happened in America in the last 100 days. So anything else? I mean, do you have a girlfriend? You have kids? You're married?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm just a girlfriend.
Take your time.
It's true. There is time. Can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
The question will be, knowing what you're on right now, so with your experience of a year making content, what kind of advice would you give to young content creators? They are starting out to make content, but they don't know to show their authenticity. They don't know what to do.
I would,
Because-
whatever you like doing best, make that a focus of your content. You know, and what induce and make content of something like that you're good at, that you enjoy. I guess you wouldn't do it otherwise, but in practice, like if you want to put out dance content, be a good dancer, or at least show the steps that you're trying to be. Like if you, like I said, if you go back and look at my earlier ones, I have the beat, but I don't have the moves aren't as refined as and I'm telling you, I took a lot of heat from my kids and like that, you're doing it wrong, and,
it's a process, though. It's a process.
It's a process. Listen, just, be yourself. Main thing. So if you like drawing, like I actually was more like, there was a person, I don't know if they followed me or how, but one of them drew like an unbothered hat, and then they would do other drawings, and I followed that person a lot. Like that was someone I was interested in. So you never know what people are going to be interested in.
Exactly.
So I don't really see. I don't know if there's really a formula. My advice in general is to be unbothered, meaning to be, and that I didn't come up with that name. Actually, it was in a comment. Like I tell you, I get a lot of comments, and you go read them, and there's, like I said, not one negative comment. And literally, I have close probably to 1 million comments.
Wow.
And one of them was, "Man, that guy looks unbothered," and I was like, "That's it. That's perfect." And I was in the room, my hair was big like this, and it wasn't a big. I was not famous, and I was at about 30,000, maybe 20,000 followers at that time, and I changed my name to Unbothered Kev, my handle, and I'm going to go.
I love it.
And I because it was like our little community. It was like people are trying to figure me out. Like, who is this guy? Is he just a slob, or is he, or is he, what the fuck, And now
Exactly.
and now people kind of know. But here's the thing now, how you kind of like 185,000 people. That's the size of the city I live. Like that.
Totally agree.
And but are they? I don't want to get to the point where I have to I'm checking it like ratings. Like I'm not the Tonight Show. I'm not. I don't know. Oh, that's my car salesman right there. My car, to go look at a car. I'm going to look at an Audi.
Okay, yeah. But we finished.
Are we done? So I don't know if that answers your question. Be yourself.
No.
Look at you. You look like you're a good TikToker. Do you TikTok?
Yeah.
I'll go watch you. I'll go watch your stuff.
Thank you so much.
I will, and I'll give you. I'll comment and stuff like that. Now, is anybody watching us here?
Not here. I'm gonna when we finish, I'm gonna edit a little bit. Maybe not. I wanna post it on YouTube, and then I have a podcast on Spotify. I'm gonna release there as well.
Well, make sure you let me know where it's available.
I'm gonna send you links.
Send me, and maybe if maybe I can put up if you send me an edit of a part of it if you want.
Yeah.
And you see, when you duet, I don't if to put it up on my site, so you'll get a lot of visibility, which well, maybe not, but these days, before I could bank on at least, a bad video for me was 12,000 views and 4,000 likes. Now it's I'm back down to wow, this has got 133 likes and 500 views, and it's pretty mind blowing. I feel bad if people take it too seriously, who've lost accounts. They get 200,000 people, and it's easy to think that it's going to go to your head. and then 2 minutes later it's taken away. So you got to kind of watch it like that. But you're doing it more professionally. I have a YouTube account too. Actually, go ahead.
No. Basically, my whole point of doing this podcast is basically to show like what is behind our content creators, who you are and what you're about. This is basically my point. That's
Is this
why,
what you do for? Is you try and do this for a living yourself?
no, it's not for a living. I would say is a passion, Kev. I love, like, I don't know if you knew, if you have, you probably noticed, but I like to listen, and I like people to talk with new people and meet new people. So I think this is the perfect thing for me. Meet new people and I can learn something. It's the perfect equation.
It's unbothered, man. Very unbothered. I'm at the point where I want to meet very few people, like, and I'm more isolated, but. And I took a chance. Like, I was like, wow, I wasn't sure, because you went through the website. The only customer service I was getting from those guys was they finally they forwarded this, and I was like, wow. And I'm so glad that I followed through on it.
The good thing, I sent you 2 emails. I sent you the first email, and I haven't received the response.
Oh,
So I said, you know what? Persistence pay always back. I send another email, and they forward to you. You see?
good. That's good. I'm happy they did that, because I wouldn't necessarily. Well, hey, it all worked out. You want to do it again sometime, if you want to.
I will
You know,
do,
that's
of
fine
course.
too.
Of
You
course.
know, but yeah, I'm gonna pop in the shower. Listen, thanks a lot. You know, when
Thank
you
you
get
so
it all
much.
set, let me know. Just, you get my email address.
I
Let
will.
me know, and we'll figure it out. Like, get a couple of clips or whatever, or
Yes.
say something. But see, if I duet it, if you post it on your site, if I duet it, it automatically splits the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't have me in your duet or your video. If you make a TikTok about this,
Yeah.
or show it, make sure that I'm not in it, so I can. Or if it is, I think. See, I can't just share it. It automatically goes to duet.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Okay. Yes, I know what you mean.
There's a couple kids that bought their shirts. I said I would duet them, which I will be doing this weekend. But one of them, like a couple of them, duetted themselves with me, and I can't
Okay.
post it.
I will make a video. Yeah, I will find a way. I will
You know what
find
I
a way.
mean?
Yes, I will find a way.
And then I'll take it from there.
Thank you
Remember,
so
I'm
much.
here. Thank you.